Hi, I'm Richard Jarel. Welcome to my studio. You're on Locals Guide. And if there's any message that I could get out to you, it's that anything is possible. We're talking about how I got into all of this in the first place. I was one of those kids that stood in line for 3 days to see Star Wars when it first came out in the 70s. In Los Angeles, it was playing at two places. I think it was the Bruin Theater, or the Westwood Theater. It was in Westwood Village near UCLA, and the Chinese Theater, Brahms Chinese Theater in Hollywood. And it was the whole thing of news reporters going, what are you doing here? You're sitting on the sidewalk, you're camping out, what's going on? It's like, it's Star Wars. What do you mean, what's going on? It's Star Wars. And when I left the theater, I was in tears, because I found what I wanted to do with my life. Had no idea how to get into the business, and it's that whole adage of you can't get into the business unless you know someone in the business, which means you have to be in the business to get in the business, which means if you're not, forget it. I was too young, I didn't know anything, I wasn't good enough, all these barriers that I placed in front of myself. And I was so blown away by seeing the film, so inspired. I went home, I was illustrating at the time, and I literally stripped a wall and airbrushed a huge Death Star with these X-Wing fighters just from memory till the sun came up. I mean, I was just blown away. 25 years later, 26 years later, I started work with a therapist. And the therapist asked, how much do you make? And I probably said $7,000. And I used to be working in advertising, and I quit advertising to start my own business making model airplanes. She thought that I meant $7,000 a month and didn't think much of it. I meant $7,000 gross for the year. And she had no idea how to break it to me, that I didn't have a clue about finances and money and art careers and what I was worth. And we battled it out for 3 years. And it's like, when are you going to grow up and get a job? And it's like, okay, I've got a job. And it's like, what about your art career? It's like, okay, I'm an artist. I'm broke again. That whole thing of, starving artist. And God, we did that over and over. And it's this thing that most of us carry, which are these beliefs that are planted from childhood of you can only do so much and the rest is written in stone and you can never change that. I don't know how many people I've met who wanted to be artists, and especially students, kids, and their parents go, that's nice, but finish your degree just in case. That way you can always have a backup. You can be a dentist or an accountant or something. Art is nice. You can hang some pretty things in your house, but not taking it real. My therapist was really pushing that my name would be in lights, that I would be in film, and I would be making millions of dollars, if not percentages of millions. And this was like totally unfathomable. It was like, look, this is cool. Tell me that I could get a job working at an art studio or something, doing something I like, making decent money, a nice car, maybe have to buy a house. And that's an awesome goal, but don't tease me with this carrot of gold that's unobtainable. And kept going and going and pushing near, it's sort of like a bulldozer pushing me near this edge of leaping off into what I thought was the abyss. During this time I'd been going to a place to buy materials to learn how to make molds and how to make monster skins and robotics, and this was a real place. It was in Burbank near Hollywood. And all along the walls were monsters and creatures from Stan Winston, Rick Botten, just Rick Baker, just all these legends in special effects work, with little signatures, thanks for the help. So it's like, okay, this is the real place, buy all this stuff. And I'd go in with problems and show molds that didn't work, and sometimes I would go in and show something that did work that was the opposite of what they said. And so after one horrible therapy session where I was in tears all night, I figured I have no other place to go except this place. Maybe I can find out. So I go in, and sure enough, there's a little card on the counter that says "Runner Wanted." And one of the books that I had written referred to runners as people who ran batches of foam rubber latex skins for monsters. And a friend of mine that was working there at the time, Donna Drexler, did the skins for Jurassic Park, for all the full size. So I figured, I can do this. older lady was at the counter, and it's like, how much does a runner make? She looked at me, it's like, you're scared. It's like, oh no. Wait a minute, did I give this lady's name to my therapist? Did my therapist call this lady? Is it on my forehead? Is there some note that just pegs me as being, you know, total scared geek? And it's like, and before I could say anything, she's like, do you know what a runner is? And it's like, uh-oh, I don't know so much. Oh shit. And it's like, a runner's a gopher. Do you want to be a gopher? You want to go get stuff for people? It's like, well, no. It's like, well, how much does a special effects artist make? It's like, how much do you want to make? Like, oh, lady. This is just thoughts to myself, a millisecond kind of reaction. It's like, she goes, you want to make $50 a day? It's like, well, after hearing 7,000 gross was not good, $50 a day sounded like, I could do that. Where do I sign? And she goes, you want to make 500 a day? It's like, oh, lady, stop teasing. And that's pretty much all she said.